I'm actually looking over some lecture slides. Well, I guess you could say the protocol slides from my lecture. I haven't examined a bit, so I'm just going through different things, just trying to refresh my knowledge. And I had to get some coffee because I noticed that while I was typing to people, words were not forming the way they should be. So I was like, I'm probably not awake yet. Anyway, this is a weird sequence. I don't. I guess that's a drone. Okay. Um, but I'm not actually sure what I'm gonna title this. But it's going to be a random musing, and I know it's about Jason. I was making coffee, and I think I was listening to Rigzilla. Don't ask me why. And so uh, something was mentioned, and I started going to this I guess stream of consciousness about who is Jason, who is Revelation News, and it seemed like a funny question, but if you ask yourself what separates you from another person, you'll probably go, well, here's my likes and dislikes. Here's what sort of makes me unique from everyone else who has the same set of likes and dislikes. If you were to put them into two columns and compare and contrast, but what really makes you unique, right? They're going to be your experiences, your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, stuff that separates you from the people who made you at some point. Because largely we're carbon copies of who made us, but not necessarily. There's a point where we diverge. Some of us earlier than others, some of us later than others. But I don't think Jason ever got to that point. I don't think he's ever going to get to that point where he is his own person. I don't think that he knows who he is. I honestly don't think he knows. We know Shani doesn't, but that's probably a symptom of her disorder. From my understanding, that's a huge issue with them. When I say them, people with BPD. But yeah, so who is Jason? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know outside of him being sheltered his entire life. And if you haven't picked up on things that I've said throughout the years, I'm not a huge fan of people who are sheltered. There's actually a pretty big aversion that I have towards people who are sheltered because I grew up not sheltered. My mother was very curt, very frank, and if you couldn't tell, that I'm not exaggerating at all. And sometimes, much to my chagrin, that she was more than honest with me during times than she probably should have been. But hey, innocence taken. But anyway, Jason admittedly grew up sheltered, and his mother thought it was a great idea because she lost her mate at earlier than she should have, arguably. And so she was going to protect him from everything so she wouldn't lose him. And that was a good idea. That was a great idea. I think that was selfish because she didn't prepare him to be a man. She didn't prepare him for the world. She didn't prepare him for anything other than to be this adamant flesh object that she can hold close to her and comfort her, because therapy is, I guess, too expensive for people who got money. It's easier to sabotage your son than it is to seek therapy for your problems. I think that's the first place she failed him. And Jason will probably get mad at me saying that, but it's the truth. You can get mad, and I know he's gonna watch this. Get as mad as you want to. I don't give a fuck if you haven't figured that out. But I'm not trying to be mean. I'm honestly not. I'm honestly trying to understand the mindset. Because I do have a passing interest in psychology. That's why it was my first major in college. But so for selfish reasons, she said, I'm just going to keep him close. I'm not going to have him intermingle with the others. I'm not going to, encourage him to go seek out the world and learn for himself. I'm going to instill within him my biases and prejudices, and that's all he needs to know, right? Because you can sort of tell that Jason doesn't have a tool set per se, a skill set where he can sort of discern fact from fiction. He doesn't at all. Even when trying to discern people's character, he's a terrible judge of character. Horrible. The metric that he seems to use is that there are people who will kiss his ass, and he'll deny this. He will absolutely deny that that's what it is, but that's the truth. If you say things that he likes you, he gives you money. If you say something against him, whether it's true or not, he flips off. He just goes off the handle. He cannot handle that at all. And you can hear it in the way that he talks. Oftentimes, and I want people, don't believe anything that I say, listen to what he says anytime he has a dispute with someone. He always mentions that he gave them money. Jason preemptively gives people money so he has leverage on them. That is a tactic of someone who is a manipulative person. That's his first instinct, is someone does something for me, let me give them money. Not let me learn more about them, not let me try to understand them, maybe there is something I need to disabuse myself of. Nothing, let me go a little bit deeper. This is the surface. Let me go, they seem cool, let me actually see who they are. No, not at all. Not at all. He doesn't do it, he doesn't care. He's more concerned that he has a circle of people that he could say, well, yeah, I know that person, and then utilize them later. That's it. It's very, very transactional. The same way you see him talk about G-Man now versus when he talked about G-Man 9 months ago when he was my bestest friend doing interviews with me. He didn't give a shit. I knew he didn't give a shit. That's why I wasn't even looking in the fucking camera. I was playing a game. I'm not fucking stupid. And people who watch him are fucking stupid. But I guess Jason may think that we are. I don't know. And maybe give him too much credit. Anyway. So, you have somebody who is raised in a bubble, instilled with all the prejudices and vices that his mother could muster. And then his mother passes. And so, rather than saying, I have acquired this wealth from these unfortunate circumstances, how about I travel the world? How about I do something? How about I make my mark upon this world, even though I think it's gonna, eventually fade away, and it's gonna be an apocalypse and blood and dragons and all this fanciful shit. Let me try to go out and spread the word. No, he was going to be a watchman, an alcoholic watchman. He's going to sit in his fucking house and drink himself to death because that's a good choice. That's what broke people do when they don't have the means to get help. He had the means to get help, but chose not to. Again, I think that's a failing of his mother to a certain degree, but at this point he's an adult. He can take responsibility for his own actions. Has resources that other people don't have, but decided to take the easy way out. At the bottom of a bottle. So, Dry, that's pretty harsh. Absolutely. I was facing alcoholism too at one point. I was in the military. I had a reason to be. I've lost someone very close to me, a guy who I thought was my dad, when I was very young. Very young. Didn't turn out to be an alcoholic. I accepted the fact that old people die. People get sick and they die. There's nothing I can do about it. That my parents are going to get sick at one point and they're going to die. But I'm not going to find reprieve at the bottom of a bottle. I know that much. So, fast forward, he finds an outlet on G Plus and on Blog Talk Radio, being a prophet or professing conspiracies, because why not, right? That's easy. Just making up shit because it sounds cool and there's other people who agree with the stupid shit that you make up. Again, that's a symptom of him not having a very good process to vet factual information. It's not a surprise he went that way at all. It's not a surprise he still entertains it. So, he has some fun with that. Still a virgin, still socially inept, still no forces, no incentive for him to get outside of his house and not be an alcoholic. But he runs in a shanty. Somebody else's wife at the time. Start chatting her up while the husband's at work, and which, again, you can be as mad as you want to. That was the source of one of the fights between Shani and her brother-in-law. But Shani gets divorced from her husband, and then Rev decides to swoop in and be Captain Save-A-Ho. Right. So he's acquired a family. Now it's time to be a man. Now it's time to say, I need to be selfless versus selfish. How can I show that? Well, what have I done in the past to show how selfless I am? I'll throw money at it. I'll just buy people things. Can anyone guess how his mother showed him affection? So, here we are. Occasionally you'll hear this dude talk about how he just hates the world, he wishes it to end. But meanwhile, has never really left his hometown up until recently. I'm not going to doubt at any point in time in his life, because I think he did talk about he went to go visit places, when he was younger. He went to go visit this place, that place. But has he lived in California for a few years? Has he lived in, I don't know, the Midwest? Just for a few years, just to experience a different culture. Has he traveled outside the U.S.? But he's already made this assessment that the world is shit, while staying in Scranton, Pennsylvania for the vast majority of his fucking miserable life. He's sick of everything because he's not made anything of himself. And so therefore everything needs to burn. What an entitled piece of shit. I dreamed of going places. And unfortunately, I had to, not unfortunately, fortunately, I actually got up and did something. Military is a great place to go travel. But if you have the means already, why not do it? Why not say, you know what? I love this Bible stuff. Let me go to the land of Jerusalem. Let me actually go visit it. No. I'll sit and get fucking drunk and hate the world myself. That's easier. So now what? So now what is he doing? He's cosplaying a dad and a husband. Fresh from his significant other getting the charges dropped against her, as they say, from the spousal abuse event. Sitting in the same bed day in and day out, being angry at the internet, and having no prospects, no aspirations other than internet fame, because again, it's easy. Easy. Great life. Wonderful life. But that brings me to the point that I was thinking about in the kitchen, is that Jason doesn't have a life. There's nothing really unique about him at all. It just picks up things from other people and says, yeah, I guess. But there's no vetting process. Jason has an existence by virtue of two people having sex. He exists. That's it. And he's sort of just flailing through this existence and calling it a life. Meanwhile, everyone else has to forge themselves, their personalities, their something other than just their basic likes and dislikes. They have to try to be a good husband, try to be a good wife, try to be a good parent. Well, it just depends on the day for him. Because when he gets tired of something, like the child that he is, just, whatever, I'm sick of this, I'm done. And starts throwing shit. That's been a habit of his for a while. Evidently, he's not grown out of that. And I think that's hilarious. I think that's absolutely hilarious. That he throws a fit like a fucking child and starts throwing shit at Shanny. Throwing shit across the room, knocking over lamps and stuff. It's everyone else's fault too, by the way. It's never his fault. It's never his fault he can't control his own. I have anger issues. Then fucking do something about it. Now, evidently, he's seeking therapy. I'll tell you what. So why not seek the therapy that you needed back when your mother died, when you had access to the same funds that you do now, rather than spending years in alcoholism and on Google Plus, yelling at people and having a weird homoerotic relationship with people. But whatever. I guess it wouldn't be homoerotic. It wouldn't be homoerotic, but anyway. I don't expect to see any changes in his behavior, because that's not how therapy works. You don't just go to therapy for 2 or 3 sessions and you're better. You have to actually internalize the shit. But I don't think that he actually thinks that there's something wrong with him. I think he's repeating something that Shanny's told him to say. I'm just going to be honest. Yes, he has. I think he understands he has anger issues, but I don't think that he understands that it has a lot to do with his mentality, and fundamentally his mentality has to change about a lot of stuff. He can't just pack up and leave because he's upset and angry. Ugh. The kids are doing annoying kid things. Ugh. You just flip the fuck out. My wife is being a bitch today. Ugh. I'm mad. Let me knock over a lamp. If I'm wrong about that perception, then maybe I wouldn't have a whole bunch of clips of that very thing. Of Shanny saying that he's getting mad knocking over lamps. That he's throwing remote controls and shit. Again, y'all know I'm the king of receipts. Some of y'all have seen it, heard yourself, but I mean, he can deny it. Just like he denies the footage of him saying Shanny's hitting him. And supposedly it never happened, but we'll all just pretend that we're gaslit here. But I think it's sad. I think every day that he wakes up, he has no idea what direction his life is going in. And so he has to come online and cosplay, or just lie to himself and pretend that there's something there. Eventually he's going to make something of himself or do something, or I don't know. I don't know what it's like, and I can't imagine what it's like having to wake up and have no direction in life, knowing that eventually the alcoholism, liver cirrhosis will catch up and have some impact upon my health. Or maybe lung cancer from all the smoking. And then that'll pretty much be it. That'll be the blip in the annals of human history. The Jason Revelation News. And then nothing. No one will remember him. Society will not care. Life will go on. I think that's a waste. I think at some point in time, you have to say, you know what? Can I make this place a bit better than when I entered it? Is some imprint upon society, just even my local community, that I can make so that I might be remembered outside of the masses that existed during that period of time? It's a daunting task, but you know what? If you fail at it, at least something good probably came of it. But those are my predilections. I can't put that upon him. He's waiting for everything to burn and die because reasons. So I think his goals and my goals vastly differ. Vastly. And he's looking for his reward in the afterlife, which, good on you. But what have you actually done to earn it? You can't treat the people around you right. You can't treat other people right. You can't treat your own body right. Why do you think that you deserve an afterlife? Why do you think you deserve any fucking thing? Outside of being called a petulant ass child. I mean, I'm being absolutely 100% honest right now. Why, Jason, do you think that you earned anything when you haven't earned anything? Everything in your life has been fucking handed to you. While some of us have had to earn everything that they got. But that's life, man. Hey, them's the breaks. I got it. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I used to think, Jason, and I'll admit this to you, I was like, all these white kids, they got all this fucking money, man. I want to be like that. When I was young and naive. I said, no. Back when I didn't understand the world. I am fortunate that I grew up having to earn everything and not thinking that I'm entitled to stuff. I'm entitled to status. I'm entitled to money. I'm entitled to fame. I'm entitled to anything that I have to earn. The world don't owe me shit. I'm fortunate because I don't end up like you. I'm happy that you're my Alabama and many other people's, if you get that reference. But why is that? I fundamentally don't understand that mentality. I really, really don't. Like, people owe you respect. I don't think that. I don't think people owe you respect, honestly. I think that that's something that we should express to one another, but it can be easily rescinded. But I don't know. Why don't you make a video? Why should people here's a video idea. Who is Jason? Who is Rev? Because they're evidently they're two distinct people, Jason and Rev. And I'm not going to sit here and just name drop you as some weird form of intimidation like you do with me, which I continue to do so, bro, by all means. But supposedly there's a distinction between Jason and Rev Noodz. Evidently Rev is gone. It's just Jay. I didn't know that there was a distinction, but okay, fine, cool. Maybe Rev is just a character you play. Just like all the other weird characters, the John Morgan individual, and these other characters that you sort of cook up that are actually other characters that already exist, and you just sort of adopted aspects of their personality that you like because you're too much of a weak bitch with no experience to form your own unique personality. I think it's funny. Don't get me wrong. I think that your attempts to try and find a personality are hilarious, but they end up just being shitty copies of ones that are truly unique. But that begs the question: what if you are attracted to these personalities, and you recognize that other people are, and you can identify different things about it that make it attracting or appealing? At what point do you not get that these people's experiences help shape those personalities? And the fact that you don't have those experiences make it come across as a bit shallow. That you're, again, just a carbon copy. A shitty copy. Because you don't have the experience that some of these characters have. Now, obviously, if you're trying to portray a cowboy, the cowboy thing is a little hard to do, but not impossible. My biological father is an actual cowboy, even right now. So if you really want something in life, you'll go for it, and you'll gain the experience. You'll put yourself in scenarios that will help mold that and to create unique experiences. I don't think that my personality is all that great. I mean, it's mine, but I know that it's shaped by my life experiences because I've traveled. I've met people from all over the world. I've done a variety of things, from security to retail to the military to doing the science shit, and there's all sorts of things that I've done that have shaped my perspective, and so that's what separates me from other people. But if you just spend your life inside, getting drunk or not getting drunk, or getting high or not getting high, like what is there to shape you and make you unique? If you're sitting next to a glutton, then people are going to recognize you as sort of the thing that sits next to the glutton. That's it. There's nothing unique about that. There's plenty of feeders and enablers on my 600-pound life. No one remembers their names, but people remember the names of the people. They remember the glutton. They remember that for damn sure. So, I don't know. I don't know what you want out of life, man. But it's perplexing, and that's one of the reasons you're a lost cow, actually, is that you don't have the introspection that you need to really have in order to not make yourself a lost cow. There's no ability for you to sit down and go, wow, these behaviors are not really conducive towards a well-adjusted adult. There's glimpses of it, I will say. I'm starting to sound like Vaughn. Why are you starting to sound like Vaughn? You're right there. You're at the precipice of getting the point, but then you go right back. Take 2 steps back. I'm starting to really sound like Vaughn. Why? Why are you starting to sound like Vaughn? If you know that that's not a good thing, Rev, then why? Sit down, take some time apart, go to Starbucks, go fucking suck off a trans woman, whatever you do to pacify yourself or to placate yourself. And think, why? What about me and Vaughn are so similar that I'm starting to sound like him? Huh? And if you can't do it, you may want to talk to that therapist. Or just be honest. Say, you know what? Hey, people who don't like me, what is it? And actually sit down and internalize some of the feedback. But that takes a certain level of security that all of us know that you don't have. There's no way that you have that type of security. And to be honest, it takes a lot. It takes quite a bit. Just in case, Rev, you want to challenge that. There's a video where I open up well, back in the Google Hangout, I asked people to come in and criticize me. What do you think I could improve on as a person, YouTuber, whatever? It doesn't matter. Just come in and criticize me. And I sat down and I actually wrote down a lot of it. And some of that stuff I've changed, and I still remember some of it too. That video's still up. So I'm not going to suggest something I haven't already done myself. But I know that you're not going to. Shanny's not going to let you anyway. And I know that you're going to contest. I don't control it. Yeah, okay. Okay. All the videos we have. If I have to make this video. She looking? She's over there coaching you, giving you lines to talk shit to her mother. Okay. We didn't just make that up. But anyway, that's it. Oh, guys, 26 minutes. Okay, that's it, folks. Y'all can enjoy some music because that's it.